Japan Station is made possible in part by Patreon support. If you would like to make sure that I can keep bringing you more content like this, then head on over to japankyo.com/Patreon and sign up for as little as $1 a month.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Japan Station.
Welcome to Japan Station, a production of japankyo.com. This is the podcast where we teach you everything you should know about Japan, plus a few other things. I'm your host, content creator, founder of japankyo.com, and the anime linguist on YouTube, Tony R. Vega. So today I have a rebroadcast of an episode of Ichimon Japan, the podcast that I was producing with my friend Ryan for a few years. And, he recently had a baby. And so he's off taking care of the baby. And I am continuing to release these episodes over here on Japan Station because I will be discontinuing the Ichimon Japan feed at some point in the not too distant future. But I want to make sure that all of the content we produced stays out there because I think there's still a lot of fun and relevant information in these episodes, including in this one, which is all about pillows in Japan. Yes, pillows. There's actually quite a bit to say about pillows, including, I share what is one of the funniest Japan stories that I have. I think that this happened relatively recently. So, yeah, it's about pillows. If you have listened to this episode already, you probably remember the story, I think, because it is a pretty quirky story. And if you haven't, I think you may get a laugh out of it. So, yeah, pillows. It's all about Japanese pillows. Of course, don't forget to subscribe and maybe leave a review and spread the show around. By the way, I will be dropping a new episode very soon, probably November 15, 2025. See, the thing is that I have been in Japan for a little over a month at this point, and I will be back in Hawaii on November 4th. So by the time you're listening to this, I will be back in Hawaii, but it takes a couple days to get back into the swing of things, and then I have to record a new episode and all that. So that's why I changed up the schedule this month a little bit. But if all goes according to plan, the next two episodes will be brand new content. So stay tuned for that. And, you want to subscribe so you don't miss out on those brand new episodes. All right. Anyway, let's get to the pillow episode.
When you arrive in Japan, you expect to get a pillow, but actually they tell you, like, here's the thing you hang upside down from when you sleep, and it's like a little rack, and that's how Japanese people sleep. And yeah, and you get used to it eventually. Welcome to Ichimon Japan. I'm Tony.
And I'm Ryan.
And we both are recovering from some I guess, illnesses, colds, and other C words starting whatever infections. So our voices sound probably a little off, and I will try to delete coughs if that happens along the way. But we're good enough to talk about weird stuff again. So let's get into it. So today's Ichimon means one question. We always ask a question about Japan, and today's question is, why Japanese pillows? So anybody familiar with Atsugiri Jason, the comedian, has probably heard the why Japanese people. Well, I'm going with why Japanese pillows, because we're going to be talking about pillow related stuff as it pertains to Japan today. And this all comes from a recent experience that I had in Japan in the summer of 2023 when I was visiting. I got asked a question. Well, no. I got told something about how Japanese people sleep, and I will reveal this funny story towards the end of the thing, and then we'll get into that. But let's just begin by talking about pillows in Japan. So, Ryan, do people use pillows in Japan?
Absolutely not.
I know, right? When you arrive in Japan, you expect to get a pillow, but actually they tell you, like, here's the thing you hang upside down from when you sleep, and it's like a little rack, and that's how Japanese people sleep. And yeah, and you get used to it eventually.
They actually confiscate any pillows you try to bring in the airport.
Yeah, but like if you can make the argument that it's a cushion for sitting, they let you keep it.
That is true. Pillow and cushion are different things.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess you could say a pillow is a type of cushion in English, but generally cushion would be a sitting, something for sitting, or maybe, yeah, generally for sitting, I guess. And then makura would be the word for like a head pillow. So
joking aside, before I forget, I'm just going to throw out, like, for me, like, pillow you sleep on and, like, throw pillow on a sofa are both pillow.
Yeah.
But that is actually called cushion in Japanese, and if you call pillow, you'll confuse people.
Exactly.
Repeatedly, I would confuse my wife when we're sitting on the sofa. I'm like, "Oh, toss me a pillow," and she's like, "There's no pillows here."
Yeah, that's yeah. No, you just used a good word there, a throw pillow. That is valid, at least American English. I'm not sure about British English, but yeah, that would be a sofa, like those cushions that you put on the sofa, not the stuff you sit on, but the kind of almost decorative cushion. But yeah, that would be a cushion, and makura is a makura. That's what you sleep on. There's no confusion. So again, it's a really funny story that I will reveal it towards the end in the second half. But first, let's get into as always, this show is basically like I start with some random idea and then it becomes an excuse to like just research a bunch of other tangentially related stuff. And today I began like I'm going to look into the history of pillows in Japan. So, I happened to come across an article on risetokyo.jp, which I believe is a like bedding goods store. So they sell pillows, and they're part of the big pillow industry. And I guess
big pillow.
Big pillow.
Powerful conglomerates in Japan.
Yeah. They are firm but soft. So risetokyo.jp, if you're interested, they're not a sponsor, but they did do a nice brief overview of history of pillows in Japan. So pillows have been found in Japanese tombs and like ruins of some kind, like I don't know what they were vague, they just said iseki, since the Yayoi period, which is from like 300 BC to like 300 CE. So these are like remnants of what people assume were pillows. Like there's no, firm confirmation. There was no like book saying these are pillows from 2,300 years ago. Like, but it seems like these were likely pillows, whatever they found. So they were basically like, it seems like grass like stuffed into something, or a lot of times like as we go later in the history, there were also log pillows, like literally log pillows. Ki makura is the word that I saw. So ki is tree, and I believe it's moku makura. I don't think it's pronounced, but I don't know, it could be either way. But yeah, like literally like logs, like they would just cut a log, I guess, and put their head over it, like some piece of wood. So, but there were also, I mean, I guess it's better than a rock. And then there were other like grass kind of stuff, like I guess pillow-ish grass stuff. I don't. Again, this was kind of vague, so I don't know exactly what kind of grass it was. But anyway, so until the Nara period, records show that people, would use like the wood and the pillows with the grass. And then in the Nara period, it was like 710 to 794, we saw extreme advancement in pillow technology. Well, they didn't quite put it that way, but they
like, wait a minute, said, soft is good. Why are we using the log?
Yeah, it's like, wait. We can make it softer. So apparently they started like shaping the logs into like a more like squarish like shape, or a more like rectangular shape, I guess that's more comfortable. And then again, like more grass kind of stuff. But it wasn't really until the Edo period that we start to get like the more, I don't know, something approaching kind of more what we have today, but still there were some unique ones. I put the most notable thing here is I put a picture in the notes here, Ryan, which I will be explaining, but the hako makura. So the hakomakura is apparently a rather well-known thing, and it's like there's a box, a wooden box, and then on top there's a kukuri makura. Kukuri means to like tie up, so they would like stuff maybe grass in there, and then on top of a piece of fabric, and then like tie it up. And so you would put your head on the softer part, right? But there was a base, like a wooden box base under it. And there's theories, for example, one theory that, it's said that people were using this to like protect their hair. So that they wouldn't mess up their hair when they were sleeping. So they would kind of like, I guess, this was elevated so you could like put it up next to your like up under your neck, so I guess it would elevate your head. So especially with like a woman that you know, the typical image might be like a geisha, or maybe like we've talked about the top knots, right? The chommage, which were very popular in the Edo period. The previous episode, go listen to that. I think it might have been over an hour of us talking about the history of like top knots and stuff. It's a good episode. I really enjoyed that episode. But yeah, so that's a big knot at the back. So maybe all this stuff, you know, contributed to this need to, you know, keep your hair nice and tidy. You don't want to mess it up. You spent, you know, just a bunch of money and time like getting it all nice, and then you go to sleep and it gets all messed up. So instead you have this box pillow which you put under your neck to raise it up. And then there was also like a variation, which was the bottom of the box was shaped like a ship. I guess kind of rounded. So I guess it could move a bit. So if you moved around, it would move around with you. So that was, I guess, the fancy high-tech variety. And then there was also a travel version, which could be foldable. I'm not quite sure exactly how it worked, but the article said you would sometimes see this at museums. So maybe if you go to a museum in Japan at some point, you might see like a travel box pillow.
I just got to point out, this thing is like handheld size to begin with, so...
Yeah, I guess it's foldable. Like you can collapse the box, I guess. Okay. Yeah, and also like another thing that the article said was people might use this to store valuables inside the box. So I guess, you know, your pearl necklace, your Apple iPhone, you know, you would put that in the box like under your head when you go to sleep. Yeah. Your iPhone, yes.
I know the listeners can't see this, but it is quite tall in these pictures, and I feel like it would just guarantee neck pain every night.
Yeah, again, it doesn't seem that comfortable, but you know, fashion, you gotta suffer for fashion, right? Like it's not easy looking your best.
Yeah, you can't just, you know, do your hair in the morning. That option's out.
Yeah. You know, some of those ornate, you know, like just getting that chomage up, you know, like it might take an hour like every day. So you don't want to deal with that.
Better to go through your entire life with neck pain.
Yes. Suffer for fashion. Yeah. So, and then, you know, in the Showa period, we start to see something more closer to, well, we start to get basically the more modern pillow, like the flatter pillows that we see today. And a lot of them would use like natural materials, like of course cotton, and then there's the very well known like sobagara, which are like the buckwheat husks or chaff or husks, and that would be you know, stuffed into the like fabric bag, and like the idea is that it supports you, like it conforms to the shape of your head. And it supports your head, and it's much softer than a log, of course. So, yeah,
only a little bit.
Only a little bit, yeah. And like, have you, for example, when you first start going to Japan, like for me, for example, like I noticed, like probably even the first time I went to Japan, I probably got a pillow that was stuffed with plastic, like tubes, like little cut up tubes. Have you noticed that, Ryan?
So my very first pillow when I moved here, I didn't open it to see what it was, but like the top half was soft, so like feathery things. I don't think it was like real feathers. And the bottom half was like little chunks of something that felt like grains of rice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I actually really, really liked that pillow.
Oh, okay. So those are quite popular, and there are, I think, different versions. Probably like 100% of those, like they call them micro beads. They call them in Japanese. They call them tube. I think they call them like.
You say quite popular, but I actually was looking for one last time I bought a new pillow and couldn't find it anywhere, and apparently they're not popular anymore.
Really? Because well, this past time that I went to Japan, I think there were like. I got 2 or 3 at the various places that I was staying at. So I don't know.
When I did my last search, it was when I was in my little countryside town, but I went to like 2 or 3 stores and none of them had it.
Huh. Okay. Well, I mean, maybe, trends comes and goes, but yeah, I think the plastic version is just the more modern version. It's just easier to produce and you don't have to deal with organic materials. But of course, there are some people that prefer the organic materials. And so this is an interesting thing that I noticed. Like when you look for this in English, you often get soba kawa. But in Japanese, when I was doing the reading, I didn't see any mention of soba kawa. I only saw soba gara. And gara can mean gara is like the husk of the soba, the buckwheat, right? So I don't know if soba kawa is an English only term. Kawa can mean like the skin, so it doesn't sound unnatural to me, but maybe the English in pillow industry has chosen to go with soba kawa instead of soba gara. I'm not sure, but just be aware of that. In Japanese, it seems like the common term for this kind of pillow is the soba gara pillow. So, but yeah, still very common, and depending on how you sleep, you may really enjoy this, or if you sleep on your for me, for example, I tend to sleep like facing down, sometimes on my side, so I prefer a softer pillow, and sometimes these like bead sobagara or these mix hybrid pillows can be a little too tall for me, so I generally don't like them too much. I tend to enjoy a thinner pillow. So
how do you feel about Japanese hotel pillows? Because I feel like every hotel I've ever been to, they're way too thin for me.
I can't say. I can't. I don't know. I've been to so many that I can't give a generalization. But I can say that I don't particularly ever remember thinking I really like this pillow. I don't have any positive memories of pillows in Japan.
Just like a small offshoot, since you mentioned liking them thinner, I feel like some hotels I've been to, I feel like it's just like a padded piece of paper, and I have to like fold it over on top of itself several times to like have my head be like straight.
Right. Well, yeah, if you sleep on your back, I think you especially want a thicker pillow or something with a little bit to the contour that will fit to the contour of your neck. But again, I do tend to snore, and so I generally try to sleep on my side, or mainly actually on my stomach. And we'll get into that. This is going to lead into the big story at the end. But anyway, that's
surprise reveal.
Yeah, the surprise reveal. This was actually never about pillows, and it was actually about Japanese people thinking weird things.
Agriculture.
Yeah, it's about agriculture. It kind of is. Yeah, it's about who started farming first. Okay. And then just here's a little tangent that I also went on. Dakimakura. This is very well known, especially in the past 15 to 20 years. I would say it's become more and more associated with Japan. But daki comes from daku, which means to like embrace, or hug, and daki is the noun version, so daki and makura again pillow, so daki makura, it's a hug pillow. It's one of those pillows that you would like embrace, you would hug to sleep on your side, and Japan, it's like
a big long skinny pillow if you have never seen one.
Yes. So it you put your head on top of it, and then you can hug it. You can put your arms around it, and then you can put your the bottom part of the pillow between your legs, so that it like when you sleep on your side, one of the things is like your knees or your legs the one on top will be like putting weight on the other one, and so that can be uncomfortable. So this daki makura can relieve that pressure, from the top leg resting on the bottom leg. So it's fine. It's a perfectly good pillow. It can be very comfortable. And they're actually they can be quite popular in Japan. You see them in stores and all that. Now, there are the just totally normal, sometimes kind of cute ones, and that, you see them all over the place. And then there's the, like, this is another kind of subsection of dakimakura of pillows in general that have become very strongly associated with Japan. It's the whole like anime, cute character, some would say waifu, or maybe like idols. They've got like it's a makura, it's a pillow with like a printed cover on top of your like favorite anime character, or again an idol, in some cases an adult actress, AV actress, or sometimes it can be guys too. It can be like some handsome guy, some handsome anime character. Of course, the stereotype is like a cute anime girl character, and these things exist and they're around. I would say they're not like all over the place, but you probably
everyone
have to
has at least 3.
Yeah, well, this ties into a theory that I think I will explain at the very end. Okay, so remind me about the how Japanese will sleep
for the theory.
I haven't come up with one actually. So how Japanese will sleep. Okay, and I'm writing this down so I don't forget. Okay. Okay, so sorry guys, on the fly, I forgot to write this down in the notes. So anyway, so I as I was doing research for this, I happened to find a website, a business that specializes in this. Again, we're not sponsored. I would love to be sponsored by this dakimakura company, but it's called dakimakurapillowcase.com for all your dakimakura needs, for all your super cute anime dakimakura needs. And these appear to be some fairly high quality, some quite high quality licensed dakimakura of some popular anime characters, and they're like full body, printed out pillows, and you can buy the cases for around 3,000, 4,000 yen, which is like $20 at the current exchange rate, which is horrible, but
I'm going poor every day.
I know, man. It's really, really bad as of the fall of 2023, but we're still in the summer, so we're not in the fall yet. It's pretty bad for yen. Yeah. So it's quite cheap for the dollar, so you can buy all your favorite characters. And then there was a custom one. I think it was close to Ichimon, like 10,000 yen. So I don't know, like $80 for a totally custom printed one. And then if you want but that's just for the cover, right? The pillow, the inside, the actual pillow seems to cost around maybe like Ichiman Rokusen, something like that. So like would be like $130 or $120 maybe, 110 maybe, I don't know, depending on the exchange rate. And then there are like the ones with, let's just say, holes in them, and that's like, that's a whole other genre. That's a subgenre. Not all of them are like that, but there are some that are like that. So they're for all your needs, for just so you can be well rested and relieved of
it's
other
where you
stuff.
store your valuables, like your pearls, right?
Oh my gosh. All right. We're not going to, we tend to not get risque on this show, but that's about as deep as we'll go. So.
Well, it's been around since Yayoi, we heard. They hide their valuables inside a pillow.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to, oh my God. This was like this random fact that I found. So back in the Rise Tokyo article, I discovered the oldest pillow in Japan. So, the oldest pillow in Japan, you can find it in Nara, in the city of Nara, and it's at a temple called Shoso-in. So of course, Nara is the city in Japan, in the Kansai area, that's known for the big Buddha, Todaiji. That's the temple where the big Buddha is, the big statue of the Buddha. But there's
very aggressive deer.
Oh yeah, they've got, they love their crackers. They'll just try to take them away from you. But yeah, there's this temple called Shoso-in, and they have what is supposed to be the oldest known existing pillow in Japan. And I think it dates back to the Nara period, so like the 700s. And it's like another one of these grass pillows, and wrapped in like this fine fabric. And the name, this has got like a very grand name. So the name of this makura, this pillow, is Shironeri Ayano O Makura. So it's got the oh as in big, but I think in this translation you could go with grand. So the Shironeri Aya no grand makura. Yeah, and it's probably over 1,000 years old. I think it wasn't particularly clear, but and also like when I tried to look for this in English, nothing came up. So maybe this hasn't been documented on the English side of the internet yet. So there you go, exclusive maybe from us if you want to go check out a really old pillow. I don't know if they have it open for display or what the deal is, but it apparently
still in active use.
Yeah, just one guy's just using it. It's like, oh, this thing is so dusty. Keep sneezing.
Before we move on from the Dakimakura story, just because I saw one of the pictures you put in the little show notes has a sale they're advertising, which just reminded me someday we need to do an episode about how horrible Japanese sales are.
Really?
So yeah, this says your order-made pillow, normally 10,000 yen, right now on sale for 9,878 yen.
I didn't notice that. So
yes, they're advertising this as if this will like make you happy to have a discount of 122 yen, which if you're curious right now is 86 cents.
Hey, limited time. If you don't buy it now, you're going to have to pay the full price.
This is like saying like normally $100, now $99.20.
Like it's not even a full dollar.
It's not. I've seen this a lot. Like I feel like in other countries, if your sale's under like 10%, they won't even like mention it because it feels almost insulting. But in Japan, I've literally seen like 1% off. Buy it now. It's like, why? It's not even sales tax.
That's not true. Sales tax is 10%. Yeah.
The worst sale I ever saw that they actually put a sign up because they were proud of it was the price didn't change at all, but if you had a point card, you'd get a bonus 5% points on your purchase.
All right. Well, you know,
and at least a limited time summer sale.
You know, I guess I would rather get the extra 5% than a 122 yen discount.
I guess that's true.
At least it's 5%. Like I can, you know, if it's a store I regularly go to, I will eventually use those points. But oh, that's so funny. Yeah, I you know, honestly, I never paid too much attention to the sale stuff, but since you've been there so long, I guess you know you've noticed.
You see big displays saying like summer campaign, like oh cool, I'll get a discount, and then it's like 1% off.
So you will be grateful for this 1% discount.
A sale so small you don't even notice, so we put up giant signs to tell you.
Yes, technically you are saving money, so don't complain. Oh, okay. Thank you for noticing that. All right. So here's the story. Here's the thing that sparked all of this. All right. So I was in Japan in June of 2023, and I me and my partner, we were at a pillow store. I guess it was a general bedding store. They mostly had blankets. I don't think they had full on beds. I think they were just doing like mainly pillows and maybe like a little bit of blanket kind of stuff, maybe like bed covers. And they had this like bed setup where you could lie down and they would look on the computer for all your like kind of pressure points and then try to tell you like, oh, you need this kind of pillow. And their pillows were like, you know, expensive for a pillow, right? Like, you know, it would be close to $100 or sometimes $200, $300, $400, $500. I'm talking like converted to dollars. There were like some ridiculously expensive pillows, like a few
but
hundred.
They had an 88 yen discount.
Yeah. Actually, I think the discount was actually a few thousand yen that they had that day, so it was actually pretty decent. I did not end up getting a pillow. My partner did. She got one. She's very happy with it. But you know, there were some very reasonably priced ones, and there were some very expensive ones. But you know, their thing is they sell nice pillows. So they had this bed set up where you could lie down on the pillow and they would tell you, oh, okay, you need this, you know, height adjustment, blah, 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 whatever. Fancy, nice, you know, it's a bit of marketing. It's a thing to get you in the door. And they tell you, well, actually, we have the perfect pillow for you. You know, it is what it is. But anyway, she's happy with the pillow, so I'm not complaining about that. But then, they said like, "Oh, Tony, why don't you try it?" So okay, fine. I don't need a pillow, but I'll lie down. I lie down and I do the thing, whatever. And then she's like, "Oh, okay." So this and this and this, and then so then she says like, how do you normally sleep, on your back or on your side, right? She's asking me in Japanese, and I answer like, oh, actually, normally I sleep on my stomach. And then she starts talking about like, oh, really? No. Okay. So I'm sorry. I'm messing this up. So I think I lied down. I did the thing, and then she looks on the screen and she says this and this and this, and then she goes, well, actually, so Japanese were an agricultural society, so that's why they tend to sleep on their backs, and Westerners were a hunting society, right? Like hunter gatherer, but she used the word hunters society, so they tend to sleep on their side. And then she looks over to me and she says, how do you sleep? And I go, well, actually, I tend to sleep on my stomach. and then she's like, oh, okay. She's a little thrown off. She's a little confused. And then
that was not one of the two options.
yeah. It's like, oh, I didn't expect that. That's the vibe that I got from her. And then she goes, well, actually, so, babies, they're not like supposed to sleep on their stomachs because, they can suffocate. I go, oh, okay. Like I was about to, like, in my head, I was bursting out laughing because she said something that really like, oh my God, I've heard this before. But then she was trying to kind of recover and blah, 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 talking. And I didn't end up getting a pillow, but I was like just laughing in my head because like this is something that comes up from time to time. And most notoriously, we did an entire episode about this kind of thing when we talked about Japanese people. Many Japanese people, not all, have this vague, very vague. They don't even know where they've heard this, but they have like, they've at least heard the fact that, not the fact, the thing that Japanese people have longer intestines than Westerners. Because the justification tends to be that Japan was an agricultural society, so they ate a bunch of rice and stuff, and so then they needed more intestines to, I guess, digest the rice or something, and Westerners were eating meat, so they just need to like get rid of the meat as soon as possible, so they have really short intestines. I don't know, there's this idea in Japanese society that is maybe not as prevalent as it used to be, maybe, but it's surprisingly like still around. Like I think like a lot of people have at least heard this in Japan because like
I remember when we did that episode, I asked just like random coworkers and stuff, and they had all heard of it.
Yeah.
They weren't like strongly believing in it. Like, oh yeah, I heard that. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard that.
Right. So I think, I agree. I think that is probably a general consensus, but it's this thing that's in Japanese society and like nobody knows where they've heard it, but they've just heard it. And some people really genuinely believe it. Some people are just like, I don't know. I've heard it, but I don't know.
Oh, it's probably on the news.
I guess
news is not very reliable from my experience.
Or in like some elementary school like poem or something. It's like it's a haiku or something that they all have to memorize.
A haiku about intestine length across the world.
Yeah. It's a 575 syllable. Of course, the 7 one is about the Western foreigners because it's longer. No, wait, the Japanese one. Sorry, yeah. I got it wrong. So we did an entire episode about that. It's hilarious. And there's all kinds of like tangential stories about this. So go listen to that. It's actually one of our early episodes. But there's this idea, about Japanese being an agricultural society. And so this and that. And this all ties back into probably like this whole idea of Nihonjinron, that this Japanese people's theory that I think originated in the lead up to World War II in this kind of Imperial Japan era when Japan was trying to portray itself as the superior society because of reasons A, B, and C. They're agricultural society and thus they're better. They're not like dirty meat eaters. But we've actually talked about the fact on a different episode that a lot of Japan was saying like, oh, we didn't eat meat, but actually they were eating a lot of meat like throughout most of Japanese history, even though there were technical meat bans, but they were eating rabbits and this and that. So anyway, that's all like fabrications, but the point is that this it's still kind of around in society. And sometimes you hear it in these random places, like at the pillow shop. I had never heard this idea that Japanese people sleep on their backs because they were an agricultural society. I don't know what the hell that has to do with sleeping on your back.
Despite, like, aside from the whole historical notion being incorrect, where's even the connection? Why would a farmer sleep on their back and other people sleep on their side? Like,
like the only justification that I was able to come up with is that, dogs are hunters, right? They come from wolves, but they don't sleep on their backs, right? They sleep
curl up in a little circle.
Yeah, which is close to like sleep. I'm sorry. I'm just going. Yeah, it doesn't make any freaking sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. I don't know what. Even if you are a hunter gatherer, like what?
I guess like while you're in mid hunt walking, you just fall over on your side and sleep right there.
I guess you have to huddle for warmth, like a dog again, like a dog.
I feel like the dog is closest to stomach sleeping, honestly. They're right side
Yeah,
up.
it is. Yeah, it's curled stomach sleeping. Yeah. I mean, sometimes when they're really relaxing, they'll go full on side, but they generally only show submission on their.
I have also seen them be full relaxed on their back with their legs up in the air, and it's adorable.
It is, but that I don't think they normally would sleep like that. That's uncommon.
Yeah, but you see it sometimes.
Yeah, and it's super cute. But that we're going off on a doggy tangent here.
We should talk more about dogs.
Well,
like
we did
in
it.
General.
We did do an episode about Japanese dogs, famous Japanese dogs. So again, we're touching on a bunch of old episodes that we've done because I guess we've just been doing this for so long. So,
just let the record show. I would prefer 50% of our episodes to be dog focused.
Okay, I will try to find some angle to talk about dogs in the near future. So, anyway, the point is that this was so hilarious, and I've been joking about this for the past few weeks with my partner. She's Japanese, but and
is she a back sleeper at least, or
she is. Okay. Yeah.
My wife is also Japanese, and she is not. So I guess she's not actually Japanese.
She's not. She's so Western. She's a savage. Yeah.
She does eat yakisoba with a fork.
Oh my goodness! So she's fake Japanese. I'm sorry. She's next time I see her, I'll tell you you're not real Japanese. So yeah, this totally like it doesn't make any sense. And again, you asked your wife and my partner, she'd never heard of this either. I didn't do a full on inquisition here with like every single Japanese person I know because I just think this is so preposterous. And I don't know if she came up with that on the spot or if this is something that was in the Pillow manual. This is like training day. All right, you're here. All right. So, yeah.
Let's start with the history of Japanese. It's an agricultural society.
Yes. Thus, we sleep on our backs. In the event that you have a Westerner come to the store, please let them know that Japanese people sleep on their backs because we are an agricultural society. So, yeah, this was just absolutely absurd. And of course, I just did a couple quick searches. Didn't come up with anything on Google. Maybe there's some weird message board somewhere about Japanese back sleepers or something. I don't know. But
I remember when you mentioned it to me, I did a Google search too. And I think it was like 52% of Japanese people actually are side sleepers. So.
Oh, okay. Thank you for checking
right to begin with.
Yeah, no, what I was trying to look for was people talking about this general stereotype like online. And I forgot to look up if there were any statistics. So thank you for looking into that. And it doesn't surprise me at all. So
I might be wrong because this was like 2 weeks ago and it was just a quick Google search. But I remember it was close to 50-50, but I think a slight majority was in fact side sleepers in Japan.
Yeah. I mean, we're people, man. We're human. It's in like, oh, Japanese. Oh, what's your passport? Oh, guess you got to sleep on your back. Like, sorry. Yeah.
I just want to imagine a strict mother sees their kid on their side, like, no, dame, and pushes them over.
Yeah, it's like, we're not savages in this home,
Yeah, throw that nice pillow away and use our log.
Yeah, no child of mine will sleep on their side. This is the gift that keeps on giving. So anyway, I just decided to do a search for what I did was I put in Google, I put in Japanese. In Japanese, I did this, right? So I'm translating this into English, but Japanese do this because they were farmers. Westerners do this because they are, that's what I searched for. And the first thing that popped up was I got this article by this company president of this company called Jess Corp, which appears to be a translation company. I think this guy is probably still the president of, might be his company. and he's an older guy, but in the article he says tens of years ago, so I'm thinking like 20, 30 years ago, he was talking to a Westerner and he said, well, actually, Japanese people, most Japanese people, and he said, he used the word hotondo in his quote of himself, which means like, okay, so there were other Japanese people. Okay, let me get to the quote first. So most Japanese people were actually like agricultural people. So our way of thinking is quite different from that of Westerners. All right. So this is the quote that he quoted himself saying this, like, 20, 30 years ago to some Westerner. He didn't specify who, which again, so this hotondo.
Elvis Presley.
Then Elvis said, actually. So no, the most Japanese people were agricultural. So there were other Japanese people that were not agricultural. Like I don't know. Like that was weird. Anyway, so then the Westerner, his response, and he quotes this too. He's like, well, actually, Westerners were also an agricultural society. And then he's like, oh, okay. So that made him think. And then I guess he did this research this article was published in 2007. So I guess he did a little bit of research at some point and then published it in 2007. But this was a very short article. It was not that long. It was very brief and very to the point. And he just laid out dates. Like actually Westerners were doing agriculture for like wheat and this longer than Japanese people. And this was longer than Japanese people. And this was longer than Japanese. It was like significantly longer in many cases, and he broke it down into like 4 or 5 points, and his conclusion was like Westerners were the agricultural people and Japanese were no doubt like closer to like a hunter-gatherer society. Like that was his conclusion. This like old Japanese dude, like that was his conclusion, and he laid out concrete numbers, and he of course he's not like a historian or anything, but I think you can kind of verify a lot of the data there in some way or shape with very simple Google searches. So like, yeah, even if you don't want to like pull hairs about which is an agricultural society or which is not, the reality is that there was, farming and stuff going on for a very, very long time in the West, and Japan is a relatively younger society in terms of, like civilization growing on this archipelago, compared to other places around the world, most other places perhaps.
Yeah.
So just none of this idea that Japanese people sleep on their backs because they were farmers makes any sense from the farmer angle, from the practical angle, from the statistical angle, from any of this. But
literally every aspect of that theory is wrong. Like,
yeah,
they don't mostly sleep on their back. They aren't a heavily farming society.
Yeah.
And of course, there's just no connection between what your ancestors did and how you sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, see, here's the thing though, that like if she would have said, well, actually our intestines are so long that it's very
uncomfortable. It weighs us down, so we have to go on our back.
Yeah, so like if we sleep on our sides, like it's very uncomfortable. So that's why then I go, okay, at least this all clicks. At least your nonsense makes sense. But this doesn't even like make, yeah. So look, I think that this is a very, very isolated thing. Maybe she even just panicked in the moment. And
she didn't resort to talking about babies sleeping on their stomachs when, in case our audience doesn't know, you are not a baby and do not have a baby.
Yeah, as far as I know, I'm not a baby. Last I checked. Yeah. So look, maybe this was just her. I'm not saying that Japanese people believe this. I was simply using this as an excuse to, one, look into, quirky pillow, history and trivia, and two, revisit this agricultural thing, thus Japanese people do this or that. So, there you go. But if you do want to ask your Japanese friends, like, hey, so do Japanese people sleep on their backs or something? Let us know what they say. Ichimon@japankyo.com. I believe that's the Ichimon email. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So yeah, Ichimon@japankyo.com. So you can let us know if you ask your friends about that. Here's my theory. So, yeah, go ahead.
Real quick, just because we finally got to the sleeping in the back thing, I wanted to point out way earlier when you were talking about the historical pillows and you had photos, there are pictures of 3 people using them. 2 of the 3 are sleeping on their side.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me. Look. I think, like, for example, if you have a chomage, like a top knot, I mean, you would want to sleep on your side, wouldn't you? Like, I think that's better than sleeping on the back of your head, right?
Actually, two of them are girls with elaborate geisha-style hair, and both of them are on their sides.
Yeah. I mean, that's the classical, like geisha, Maiko, like very ornate hairstyle and you would hear about how they had these special pillows, so that they wouldn't mess it up. And I think I've heard that they're not particularly comfortable. It doesn't surprise me, but yeah, it probably takes so much time to get your hair into that shape, so you would want to preserve it.
We can only conclude if you wanted to become a geisha, you must be from a family that did not descend from farmers, but came from hunter-gatherers.
Good point. Yeah.
Because the guy said hotondo, so it's not all. There was like a good 10% who were like totally against farming.
Yeah. No, I love, like, how the confidence at which, people just say this, because they've never had to question it. And I love that this Japanese guy, the Jess Corp, like Shacho CEO guy, he's like, you know what, I'm actually going to look into this. And very quickly he realized, like, yeah, like, none of this makes sense. yeah. So
like, I wasn't there, but you could just picture the moment where the foreign guy's like, actually, my culture farms too. He's like, that's right. Other cultures also farm. This is
great. Bread, wheat, you have to farm. Oh my goodness. This is all. I see the world in a different light.
I've traveled abroad myself and seen farms in other countries.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Okay. So anyway, yeah, it's silliness. And yeah, there are certain beliefs that, again, I'm not saying, like, people are bad. It's just somehow it seeps into the society, and it just kind of, it's a telephone game, right? It just like keeps going and going and going, and people never question it. And then when they do question it, like the CEO guy, they actually realize, like, oh wait, this doesn't make sense. So here's my theory.
4 seasons.
The four seasons. Yes. By the way, many Japanese people like to brag about their 4 seasons, so because
you may not know this, listeners, but only Japan has 4 seasons.
Yep. They're called Aki, which is autumn, Fuyu, which is fall, Haru, which is spring, and Natsu, which is summer. And I know a lot of the listeners, they don't know what, certain of those seasons are, but we can do an entire episode about that. I was going to
say, it's strange that we have English words for all 4 of them, considering no English-speaking country has 4 seasons.
Well, they were actually, imported from Japan. We had to adapt that. Yeah, that was a post World War II, import. Yeah.
Before we go on, I don't think we're going to do a whole episode on the season, so I just got to point this out. We had a guest lecture at my old high school where like a teacher from Singapore and one from Brazil, I think was where they're from, gave a lesson that was kind of on misunderstandings, kind of exactly this kind of thing, like your intestines being long and whatever.
Yeah.
And they would ask the students, like, we had the entire, I think it was the second year class, so like 400 kids. Like, they would ask them a question like, oh, is it true that Japan is the only country to blah, blah, blah? If you think yes, stand on the left. If you think no, stand on the right. Most things were fairly like 50-50 because that's just how kids think. One of them was, is it true that having 4 seasons is rare and that, like, Japan is unique for this? Mm-hmm. For that one question, it was like 99.99% voted yes. Woo! And the no side was literally like 3 very brave kids. It was by far the most strongly believed thing of all the questions.
Wow.
And as someone not from Japan who knows everywhere has seasons, it was like... Some of the questions they were asking are like the history, like this was invented in Japan. I'm like, I kind of don't know, so maybe. But this was like, it's so obviously wrong. Why is this the one that everyone believes in so strongly?
It's a meme at this point. It's something that, so many foreigners discuss. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like it's perfectly fine to be, kind of proud of the culture that has developed around the 4 seasons, because Japan is very, they have cultural events and seasonal events and foods. And it's wonderful. It's a wonderful part of being in Japan because every season has its own little quirks and things and foods and all that. But it's like that aspect may be somewhat unique because, Japan has its own unique take on the seasons. But the fact that seasons exist, it's like, no, we're all living on this rather round globe, and anybody in the same latitude, longitude, whatever area, they're going to experience the same kind of temperature weather patterns. But I don't have to explain the English speakers. This is just, it's a weird thing. Like, I don't know how this became a thing in Japan.
It's another thing too that I think if they thought about it for like 2 seconds, they would realize it's false. Because you can ask them like, "Oh, if it's summer here, what season is it in Australia?" I'm like, "Oh, it's winter." Like, yeah,
they know that.
That works for all 4 of them.
No, it absolutely is, and like it's like they've seen Christmas movies from the U.S. or something. Like they know, like all the knowledge is there, but there's this weird blind spot. They go like, "Oh wait, yeah, that's true." Like I've seen other places that have this or that. Like it's so weird. And again, there's exceptions, not everybody, but it is a prevailing thing that seems to pop up again and again. So let's wrap up with my theory. So as we learned today, Japanese people sleep on their backs because they're an agricultural society. But the thing is that the dakimakura, the world is becoming overthrown by anime otaku. And so they are purchasing more and more dakimakura, which is affecting the sleeping habits of Japanese people.
And dakimakura, a uniquely Japanese invention, is corrupting Japan and making it Western.
It absolutely is, yes. And they are eating junk food because all otaku eat junk food. It's changing, their sleeping habits. And so as we see, the declining rate of population because of dakimakura, because of the otaku culture, what we will see is that in a period of a few hundred years, what is now like most people sleeping on their backs will become most people sleeping on their sides as they hug their anime waifu, because they've lost the ability to farm and they're hunting for wild junk food and snacks. Inconvenient, exactly. Yeah. So we're seeing an evolving population and societal shift in Japan to side sleepers. So you can understand now that if you ever run into a Japanese person that sleeps on their side, they are a horrible otaku, anime degenerate fan, and like that's how like this is they're bringing down all of Japanese society. Yes, so that's my theory. In a couple hundred years, no more back sleepers. So yeah, obviously none of this makes sense, but yeah, that's
don't question it. We're not here to think about reasons or logic. Just
exactly, yeah. And
it sounds vaguely plausible, therefore it must be true.
Exactly, yeah. In Neo Tokyo, people only sleep on their sides. So, yeah. And they have shorter intestines, of course.
Those shrink too.
Yeah, Japan in 200 years will just be, short intestine otakus.
They're so short they can actually only survive on junk food.
It's a survival mechanism, It is what it is. So, there you go. That's the pillow episode. People actually listen to this show, so thank you guys. I do appreciate your Patreon support. This is you guys make it possible for us to do this.
I do feel this one's going a little like the whole idea is to do like a comedy information show. But this is off the rails even further because this is not even like a widely believed thing. This is literally like one lady in one shop said one thing strange.
Well, but you did end up learning that there is, an oldest pillow in a shrine. You got to learn a little bit about pillow history in Japan. And for anybody that hadn't listened to the whole intestine thing, you did get to learn about, these weird kind of surviving stereotypes that are not based in anything, provable. These do exist in Japan. Again,
not only are they not provable, they're very easily disprovable.
Yeah. Again, don't be mean to anybody that says anything like this, but just understand that somehow this seeps into culture or society. Somehow people keep spreading these things, and you can discuss it in a nice way, and you go like, oh, well, actually, this or that, whatever. You can do it in a nice way. Don't be mean about it because. Honestly, like this lady at the pillow store, like she wasn't trying to be mean or anything. She unless she made it up, which it didn't seem like it. Like I think she just genuinely had heard this somewhere and was just repeating it, and she didn't think there was anything weird about it. You could argue that's a problem in and of itself, but it didn't offend me. It really just amused me, and I thought like, oh my god, I have to tell Ryan about this. That's basically what I thought. Like soon after I heard that's like we're gonna do an episode on this. So yeah, that's it. So anyway, yeah. Any last things, Ryan?
I don't even know where to begin.
Okay, yeah. Just have a good night's sleep. Find it is important to find a good pillow that suits you. So
okay, I do have one thing. So farmers are back sleepers, hunter gatherers are side sleepers. So what the heck are you weird stomach sleeper?
I am a vulture of some kind, I guess, huh? But
you're just like a scrap gatherer.
Yeah, I'm a scavenger. I'm a scavenger. Yeah, I gather. I just eat. What's that called? That's the word for carcasses. And yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, I'm horrible. But I'm essential to the food chain. Vultures are an important part. So you can't disregard me. Okay, I have value too. So. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next time. See ya.
Goodbye.